In this video, I'm going to take the knit swatch that I put into repeat and stepped out here and create some variation. Because as you can see, the swatch started out looking really random, but once I put it into repeat, it really stripes and blocks out in a way that I wish had more variation, like the feeling of the original. So right now I have 4x4 repeats, and I could work on this whole file, or I could cut it down so that I'm working with 2x2 repeats, or one horizontally and one vertically. So I'm going to cut it down by doing canvas size and percentage and make it 50% by 50%. This is still going to include 2x2 repeats, and like I said, I could also knock it down so that it's one horizontally and two vertically if I want to start small. For this video, I'm going to start a little bit small, and then I'm going to show you how to take those elements and step them out again. I do want to point out something from my last tutorial that I did poorly. I did not crop the repeat well, and you can see it here, so I may as well fix that while I can. I'm going to fix it using the clone tool, which is also how we're going to fix the variation. So the clone tool is here. I'm going to use it with a brush size that feels like close to the knit stitch. So I'm changing the scale by using the brackets on my keyboard. And then to pick an area to clone from, I'm going to hold the Option key down and get what looks like a little registration mark. And by doing that, I can then select the area and then move my cursor to start drawing. So I select an area to clone from, and then I release the Option tool and clone into that area. So this is the kind of thing you want to do very little bit at a time instead of trying to clone a whole big section, or you're going to end up with random things like I just got while I was saying that. So I'm just going to cover this up. Oops, I'm really showing you the mistakes. So I'm going to say that my keyboard is a little sticky, so I apologize. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to say that there's a couple of ways that I could get rid of the white stitches if I want to break them up. One is to color them. I don't think that's the move here because I think matching this color is going to be difficult. So instead of recoloring them, I'm actually going to use the same clone tool and clone blue stitches over some white and white stitches over some blue. So that's why repairing that was actually really helpful. So I'm going to identify an area that has a good blue stitch, like here. I'm going to start in the middle of the V, and then I'm going to find a white stitch that I want to clone over and start in the middle of the V. And I can literally just clone the stitch on top. I'm not doing it perfectly, but I'm doing it enough so that it looks convincing. Now I'm going to pick a different stitch and do it again. So it's little by little going to start to look more varied because I'm cloning. Breaking up this white line, and I can do it because I have two repeats. I can do it in different ways for both repeats and create that variation. You can always undo if something isn't looking good, but I think this looks pretty good. And you zoom out and you're seeing how this is starting to break up a little bit differently than that. I'm going to do a little bit more. I don't want the video to be too long, so you would base how much you do on how it's looking, not on how much time it's taking. I'm going to do that, and once I've gotten it to a point where I feel pretty good about it, I'm going to actually turn this into the repeat, meaning this is going to become my new swatch that I fill with because it contains the variation that I wanted to have. So again, I would probably keep going if I wasn't filming a video, but select all, edit, define pattern. It's going to be the last one. I can change the name like fixed or something. Go to image, canvas size. I think I'll do 400% across and 200% down. ignore what's happening there because I never cropped out the old information. So I'm just going to fill over this and use that last pattern that I just made so I can see how it looks. So you can see I'm starting to break up and add some variation. Obviously I didn't fix that line, left that there so you can see what it looks like when I didn't break it up. And then I'm going to make an empty layer just so you can see the old swatch in relation to the new swatch. So this is the old swatch, and then this is me breaking it up a bit to create that variation with the clone tool. In this case, the clone tool makes sense. It might be a cut and paste tool for another type of artwork.